Hi, I'm Donna Shaw, and you can probably tell I'm not from Australia either. And I'm probably going to be a lot different than everybody else you've heard speak. Not different as people. We are all women who are speaking and all have our career paths. It's just I am a sole practitioner. And I knew early on, corporate life is not for me. So as I started my university degree, I was one of these girls that started going to university before I finished high school. The summer before my senior year in high school, I started taking my business courses in university because I knew I wanted to get it done, get it finished, and get out there. And one of the biggest mistakes that I made is I forgot to let life happen. So while you're young and at university, go experience things. Yes, you want to get out there, you want to get moving, you want to get working, but don't forget that this is a time of your life that you could actually go and experience things that you won't be able to do once you're 30, 35, married with kids, because all of a sudden, then it's too late. So I graduated college at 25. I worked full time while I went to university. I could have actually led a life of having my parents fund me through university and just gone to college. But that wasn't my path. I'm not a taker. I had to do it on my own terms. And this is the message I want to convey to you. So don't stay in the mold that everybody else sets in front of you. Go for what you want to do. So because I was working full time while going to university at 25, CPA firms, which is the equivalent of the charter firms here in Australia, said I was too old. At 25, I was too old. That was probably older than most of you now. They didn't want me. I wasn't green anymore. They want people that have no experience. They wanted to mold them into what they wanted. I'm not a very moldable person. So I went into private industry. But just before I graduated university, I realized in my last semester I didn't want to be an accountant anymore. And I think that is something that university students go through after studying so hard. You're exhausted, you're tired, you've been in this, and you just want to have a break. And that's why I'm saying, figure out what's the right path for you, not what everybody tells you you need to do. Because if I say you need to go into chartered, you might go, oh my God, I never want to be a chartered accountant, that's not for me. Or you need to go into private industry, no, that's not for me. You've got to feel your passion and go for it. So I worked for companies. I worked for George Lucas and I worked for 20th Century Fox. Because of the area that I was from, that's commonplace. And so when I came to Australia, I had international company experience. And when I came to Australia in 1998, I was told by recruiters that I was unemployable because I did not have Australian experience. Was it because I was an American? Was it because I was a woman? Or because were they afraid that I was actually going to be better than what anybody ever thought I was going to be? So the first job I took, I got within 3 months of landing into this country, which everybody told me was unheard of. And I got a job as financial controller for Crawford Productions, which many of you may not know, but your parents will or your grandparents will. And it was a movie production house, TV and movie production house. I spent 2 years working there, proving to the male directors, the managing directors, the male managing directors, that I wasn't going to go and hurry up and get pregnant because I just got married, and that I shouldn't be a teacher or secretary because I was a woman. And these are things that women face still today in Australia. And I'm actually embarrassed to say that for this country because I am now an Australian. And I'd like to break that mold. So ladies, sorry gentlemen, ladies, you are more than what anybody will ever tell you to be. You are what you are inside. And you need to find that passion. So after I left Crawford's, I went to work for another entertainment company that did a lot of theater and concert promotion. One of the partners was Carrie Packer at the time. So when I would go to Sydney and go to these meetings, one of the men decided he was going to make sure he told me who he was by pounding his fist on the desk and getting his point across, what he wanted to get across. Instead, he didn't know who he had in the room. What he had in the room was a woman with more backbone than most men have. And I stood up at him and I said, "Why are you yelling at me?" And I confronted him in a polite and kind manner, but very direct. And he realized then that he was taking on the wrong woman. And he said, "I'm not yelling at you, I'm just upset with the situation." Over my time in that company, I gained so much respect for that man. When they asked me to go on the world tour with the Bee Gees before the first Gibb brother had passed away, he had told me I was the only one he had trusted to go on the road on this tour because he knew I'd do the right thing. So everything that I had done by listening to my true purpose actually paid off and advanced me again into the world that I was going into. At that point, I had decided I had enough of the entertainment industry. And many of you will go into industries and think it's all wonderful and glamorous. Entertainment industry is no more glamorous than a plumbing industry or the banking industry or anything else. It is just an industry. And as I went into my last job as director of finance, again, I realized the company life was not for me. I'd had my own business in the United States, and I gave that up to marry an Australian and migrate over here and started my career path, learning about Australia, learning about the culture, learning how accounting was done here, learning about business law and tax law. And what I finally realized is I had to listen to my own true purpose. So when I was going through my career path, someone said, "You have to work for a CPA." It didn't fit me. Someone else says, "No, you have to go work at another accounting firm, mid-tier." That didn't fit me. "You have to go work corporate." That didn't fit me. But what I realized did fit me is I am a tax agent. I'm a US tax agent. And you're probably thinking, how would that have relevance here in Australia? I have built a business that I am so busy, I am lucky if I can get a day off a week. That's how busy I am. That's how good of a business that I've built in Australia. And how did that happen? I looked outside the realm. So most people look at accountants and they're saying auditing, financial services, tax, business services, but they don't think outside. I did. And I decided to call to my true purpose. What made me happy? And let me tell you, it was never going to be auditing. When I was taking my auditing class in university, I about died from boredom. I thought this woman could not be any more boring than she could be. And she wore the same damn blue suit every week to the class. And I thought, oh God, don't tell me all accountants were like that. And she actually tainted the accounting industry for me, but she gave me an amazing lesson because I knew that's not the accountant that I wanted to be, and I knew that wasn't the person I wanted to be. So as you're going through your university studies, what's your next step? What are you looking for? What do you want to do? Are you going to follow the CPA or chartered path straight away because that's what you're told to do? Or will you go overseas and perhaps go to Europe and go work for a while? Or go to another country and find out something different? What is your true purpose? What do you want to do in your practice? In Australia, if you look at the Tax Practitioners Board, the number of tax agents that are women are about 25% of all of the tax agents in Australia. 25%. Why is that? Why aren't the women in this country advancing more? So one of my passions is to tell young women, whatever your profession is, follow your heart. What is it that you want to do? Do you want to be a mother and still work? Then what are you going to do? Do you think the Big Four are going to let you do that? Or would you prefer to go into your own business? Or do you think a smaller firm will let you do that? And as many of my colleagues here have said today, they had to follow their passion. They had to make their mark. Many of my colleagues, with the exception of 2, were born here in Australia. They've had their network set up. They went to school here. They have their families. I came here with no family, no friends. I didn't know anybody other than my husband. And I've made my own network. I've made my own way. I've made my own business. And I'm happier than I could actually be. And I'm grateful for every opportunity that has been presented to me in the time that I have been here. So what I want to say is follow your passion. Yeah, I could talk about auditing, I could talk about tax. You've all heard it 10,000 times. But what I want to say to you, ladies or gentlemen, follow your passion. What is it that you want to do? The one piece of advice I can tell you is get your hands dirty. Don't think just because you came out of university that all of a sudden you're going to go into the big paying job and you're not going to have to do anything. Guess what? You are. You have to learn it from the bottom up. You have to earn your time. As I always say to is, you have to get your hands dirty, and you have to earn not just the degree, but you have to earn the time that you put into it to be able to do the job properly. You're not going to come out of university and be able to do what anybody else has done after the 30 or 40 years in the industry. That's not what's going to happen. I actually would like to say to people, when you're going through your life and you're going through your education, you think that once you graduate university, it's all done. It's just the beginning. Your life is open to so many different opportunities to you. So if your passion is to travel, maybe you can travel overseas, work overseas in a job, and travel your way back to Australia before you decide to do your chartered here or your CPA here, if that's what you want to do. Follow your passion, follow your lead. Your parents will have your best interests at heart, but they may not know exactly what you need to do, even if your parents are accountants. Still, they may not know exactly what's right for you. Follow your passion is what I have to tell you. I'm glad that after 19 years of my time here in this country, that I have followed my passion. I've actually employed mothers who have now gone back in the workforce and trying to get back in after 6 to 8, 10 years of raising children, and finding that after being out of industry for so long, they don't know how to get a foot back in. And they had to follow their passion. They raised their children, now they're following their passion, what's right for them. And that's what I want to say to you. So if I can impress you with anything, is don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you're not going to be something that you want to be, because you could be whatever it is you choose to be, but only you can make that decision. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall on your bum. You're going to wish you hadn't done a few things. But in the end, you'll be happier once you get there. Thank you.